Hey everyone, today I'm going to be doing basically I am reviewing today this book called I Used to Be a Miserable Fuck by John Kim, the Angry Therapist, An Every Man's Guide to a Meaningful Life. I've read this book in advance, and I think right now what I'm going to do is just take some shots, wait a little bit, and then give you guys my thoughts on this book, dude. Alright, so I got myself a modest bottle of Aristocrat vodka. Nothing too special. Here we go. First shot. Three, two, one. Alright, shot two. Cheers. Shot three. Bottoms up. Shot four. Shot five. Shot six. Shot seven. Let's go. Shot number 8. Let's go. Bottoms up. Shot 9. Alright, shot 10. I feel like this is a good place to stop. So, it's a good even number. Fuck it. Alright, so we've done the drunk part. Now let's do the book review part. And if this lighting sucks, fuck you. I don't give a fuck. I used to be a Miserable Fuck by John Kim, the Angry Therapist, An Every Man's Guide to a Meaningful Life. I read this book entirely, so, I'm an expert. I know what the fuck is going on. And this person, this person right here, hates skinny jeans. Okay, so if you read this book, there's a good amount of advice. I guess most of it you could find in like an hour of a Jordan Peterson talk or anybody else that talks about responsibility and, taking yourself seriously as a man and everything else. The thing that you can tell by reading this book is that he got divorced by his wife. And he says that in nearly every chapter, at least more than 50%, he brings it up. And a lot of it has to do with, treating women better and what makes you more attractive to women. And, just, I don't think as a person, as a self-help book, you should, necessarily base your worth on how attractive you are to the opposite sex. And it just kind of seems like he wrote this book to prove that to his ex-wife that he's become a better man. Let me see. Do choose responsibility over freedom. This is a point that he makes in here, which I said, like, anybody who's talking about self-help or whatever, they usually say, especially towards men, that, like, choose some responsibility in your life. Make your bed, Here's the thing. Here's the big thing. I think in every man's guide to a meaningful life, a lot of these points or whatever, I don't fucking know. I just lost the train of thought. Let me go to another one. There's a couple of things. There's like relationships. There's like self-health, relationships, and career as parts of this book. And at least some point in all of them, there's something about, well, if you do this, also a side note, you won't be attractive. And it's like, he's very, and this might be just a problem I have with any self-book that, like, targets men and says things about men and what a man should be. I'm not particularly like, there's no definition for a man, or like you should like throw down all social constructs of what a man is and be whatever you want to be, but I kind of do feel that way. There's no pressure on you to be something. And if you don't find fulfillment in being this kind of person and, like, changing the world or, like, being attractive to women, then do your own fucking thing, Let me see. He talks about do respond and don't react. In a relationship, he's like, don't necessarily react to a situation and just become all emotional, but do respond to the thing. He does a lot of this, like, in a shot glass stuff. Love and relationships in a shot glass. Men don't react, they respond. Men do the dishes because they want to. Men don't call women fat ever. Like, okay. But why? I don't know. Men express love as an action, not just a feeling. Men couldn't care less about their partner's sexual history. Men love hard. I don't know. He caters a lot to, like, women's ideas of what men should be. There's a part at the beginning of the book where he talks about, how men should be better, and how, yes, women do bad things and men do bad things, but it's not women who are raping people, it's not women who are doing violent acts, it's not all this. So he's basically putting it on the fact that, like, men do worse things than women do, and men should try and get their act together more so than women should get their act together, is basically the idea that I get from this. And I know it sounds like I've said some negative things about this book, but there's some good things about it. I mean, it's not it's not a terrible self-help book, but I didn't find my life changed by it by any means. He says, he's a therapist, he helps people. Don't take yourself too seriously is one thing. When we take what we do seriously, we are honoring our gifts. When we take ourselves seriously, or we take what we do seriously, we're honoring gifts. When we take ourselves seriously, we're announcing that we are the gift. instead of standing behind a podium when you're stepping on the stage, unless your gift is to entertain, no one wants a show. Fair? Yeah, a lot of things are common knowledge stuff, at least to me. I don't think you necessarily have to read this book to get like a good like understanding. Not saying it's a bad book, not saying it's, you know, but I am saying, like, if you were to be completely, you know, in a state of despair, I don't think that this book would take you out of it. There might be a couple of things where, like, you know what, that makes sense. Maybe I should, like, make my bed. Maybe I should do, like, take a little bit more responsibility. Like, maybe I should do yada yada yada. Go on mandates. That's fine. Honestly, that's a good idea. Honestly, you know what? That's a good idea. Not necessarily mandates, but I do believe that's a personal, like, advantageous thing for you to take part in. If you're a man, get a, not necessarily like feminine sensitizing, like, sensitive man, but like, get a man that understands emotion, like, as a friend. If you are a man and you can talk to someone about, like, emotional things that are happening in your life, it's a real good thing. I do agree with that. Talk about your life with a guy. Because it, you know, they have a good, different, and more specific perspective than, like, maybe a woman would. You know, when I was growing up, I definitely, you know, I was like, you know, I talked to women as friends, I talked to men as friends. In middle school, I talked to more men as friends. High school, I talked to more women as friends. And as an adult, I was, you know, more comfortable around talking to women about my feelings, but they don't necessarily understand your perspective as much as a man does. It's not sexist. That's just like, yo, dude, if you have no legs, someone with no legs is gonna tell you how it feels, you know, to be someone with no legs. I'm not saying it's the same situation, or that, you know, it's the same kind of thing, but, like, someone who is in your position knows what your position is about. Talk to someone who does, you know, understand your emotions and is comfortable with it. So I think if you're a man, you should find a man friend that empathizes with you. Other than that, you know, keep your bathroom clean. Definitely, that's fine. Don't send dick pics. Some girls are into that. He says that dicks are ugly. I don't know. In my opinion, I think maybe most people agree dick pics are ugly, but some people are cool with that. So, you know, he said unless they ask for it, but that's probably as much as, like, you would ask for a girl to send her a picture of her armpit. I don't think that's necessarily true. I've had girls say, hey, send me a dick pic, and it's been more frequent than I've said, send me a picture of her armpit. Never said, send me a picture of her armpit. You know, it's not a bad book to read. Like, when you read it, you get semi-inspired. I'd say as a self-help book, this gets me 15% inspired. So, by math's reason, I'd have to give it, like, a 1.5 out of 10 as its purpose, right? But I think, to be honest, Here's one thing, though, that I do agree with. There's a chapter, like, there's a number 61. Don't speak to children like they're children. I totally agree with this. I don't think it has anything to do with being a man or anything to do with self-help. But this is how I act. Like, I cannot speak to a child like I speak to, like, a pet. Like, if there's a little dog, I'm like, oh, what a little doggy, oh. Or, like, cat, you little kitty. Like, I don't know. Like, there's, like, you know, as an animal, and it's just cute and adorable or whatever. A person, you know, if they do something shitty, I'm like, bro, I don't know, like, I don't talk to children. I don't think you, especially, like, I don't speak to children like they're children. I think that you should bring them up to your level instead of going down to theirs, because, you know, it's only going to bring them up, whereas going down to them, you know, if they are above what you think they are above, like, then they're gonna feel inferior or uncomfortable, or like, what the fuck is he doing? You know, if you talk to a 4-year-old and you just, that 4-year-old's intelligent, then, you know, you just might make him uncomfortable. Whereas if, like, you know, a 4-year-old does something stupid, you're like, you know, what are you doing? Like, yeah, you know, I mean, just talk to him like a normal person. I agree that you should talk to children like they're any other person and see where they're at. I don't think you should talk to children, like, the chapter is don't speak to children like they're children, but I think it's like, don't speak to children like they're pets or animals. Because, you know, they can understand things, and it's not, you know. But at the same time, he says this because he's like, here's the thing. He was like, I had a session with a young mother once. She wanted guidance through the rocky waters of dating again. One of her biggest pet peeves / turnoffs was when she would meet someone she was really into enough to introduce him to her 6-year-old daughter, and he would talk to her like she was a child. So again, like, the first thing he brings up is that it's unattractive to women, which again sends me a big alarm. It's like, dude, you think that, like, what makes you a man, or like, what even makes your life important is that you are attractive to women. He then goes on to say, you know, like, you know, my favorite uncle was someone who treated me like a person and not like a kid, and that's more what it is. So I guess, like I said, I'll bump the thing up because I think it's fine. I don't think the book was great. I don't think he gave me life-changing advice. I think he was a little biased towards women's wants and what he thinks is important because of what women want, and maybe possibly what his ex-wife wants. But I think as a first review, a book review, I think what I would give, I Used to Be a Miserable Fuck, In Every Man's Guide to a Meaningful Life by John Kim, the Angry Therapist. I think a honest review, what I would start with, is probably a 4 out of 10. I'm gonna go with that, a 4 out of 10. So I'm sure I'll be making more reviews soon, hopefully with better books. But I guess, like, anything below 6 out of 10, I would say save your money on. So you could get, you know, this information anywhere on the internet or anywhere from anybody who's trying to, like, help men. I don't know. Like, and decides like what a man is, which is something I have a big problem with. Like I just what's a woman? Like I don't know, man. Like I'm not saying there's not a biological difference, but I'm saying that a person should be whatever that person wants to be, regardless of his sex. So, 4 to 10. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be making another drunk book review soon. Peace, dog. I fucking love y'all.